starts now.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on First Alert Extreming on this Wednesday morning. I'm Cerise Cole, joined here with meteorologist Jared Lansford, and we are talking about our Wednesday warm-up. Sounds like today is going to be the best day of the week.
It is. We're going to want to enjoy this because we're going to be starting off a little cold, but nice recovery. We get some sunshine, and what's more, the winds are going to be light.
Thank goodness.
Thankful for that. Let's look at where we're at right now, picking up traffic at 90th and West Dodge. We'll look at the full traffic situation here in just a little bit. We've got some problems on a big route here you'll want to hear about. Not Dodge. 13 degrees is where we're at, so it's not exactly warm as you're making your way in. It's January, that's to be expected, but there's our key. Look at those winds, almost no winds, and that means the wind chill is almost exactly the same as the temperature. That'll be the case all day long, and we get temps that peak right about at the freezing mark, even a little bit above that, with some sunshine that'll be in and out through the course of the day. So this is a great day to take advantage of. Get outside, get the car washed, get the gas tank full, because it's not going to be nearly this warm over the next couple of days. And the winds that are light now will be picking up over the coming days as well. So there's how things go through the day. You can see those are gusts that you're looking at that are in the single digits. And we start to bring that wind in a little bit more tonight. Still not crazy winds for tomorrow, but it will be a little bit more notable with those temps being down around 20 for the peak. Snow chances that make their way in. Higher totals off to the west, and we're going to look at that a little more in just a second. What I want to point out on this graphic is the time frames where the chances here are the greatest in the metro, and that comes just after the morning commute and just after the evening commute. So we're cutting it close, but we should be in good shape as far as trying to avoid those peak travel times. So for when we see some of these scattered snow showers come through the metro. Here's how it plays out. And you can see how these kind of ebb and flow around the area as the day goes on. I think we'll have more of them off to the west, places like Norfolk, Columbus, as the day goes on. And then we'll gradually bring another wave of those back in as we get into the evening hours. And that's where we pick up likely the bulk of our totals in the metro, or it's just a coating that we see. We went a little too far there to see the amounts, but about a light coating is what we're talking about in the metro, a couple tenths of an inch. Off to the west, those amounts will increase a little bit, and it's closer to an inch that you see in that blue shade there for Norfolk and Columbus. So not a lot of snow for anyone, but that's where we see the higher totals end up out of this. With that snow, colder air coming, and wind chills that are below zero pretty much all day long Friday. That'll last into Saturday morning as we see temperatures peak Friday in the teens. We'll have a gusty wind alongside that, up to 25 miles per hour straight out of the north. And that's why we're going to be looking at that Arctic chill back in the area. So after the nice day today, things kind of slide away from us a little bit over the next couple of days. There's the breezy there on Friday, just making it feel that much more unpleasant.
I saw that 14. I'm like, oh no. So how long will this cold snap last?
Well, it's pretty short-lived, actually. Okay. So we'll start to see some improvement even over the weekend. What happens, though, the weekend's been giving us all kinds of problems lately.
Every weekend.
And so this one starts bitterly cold, and then we bring some snow chances in as we're warming things up. So that's what you need to be ready for as we head Saturday night into Sunday morning. And this comes in from the north, swings across the area, and this one is looking like it puts some of the higher amounts east of the metro at this point. We'll keep an eye on this if this starts to wobble, and of course we'll get more into the details as we get closer to this. But this looks like it's mainly a Saturday night into Sunday morning thing for us, and then it starts to dissipate as we get toward the middle of the day. I'll show you the 10-day forecast. The temperatures do start stepping up as we go through the weekend. About 20 is what we manage for Saturday. Alongside those snow showers for Sunday morning, though, we also are looking at a decent breeze again, so that will add more of a chill. Thankfully, things do start to improve for next week a little bit more consistently in the 30s, so that should help us out as far as all these ups and downs that we've been seeing, and even approaching 50 by the end of that 10 days.
That's all I could do is focus on that 49 for next Friday.
So nice.
That's going to be that will be nice. All right, not nice. There's a new crash on JFK.
Yeah, and it's right in the middle of the center lane. So that's a heavy route. That's going to be looking at some big issues. We should get right to that and show you what's going on with that on the JFK. Backups are pretty big. You're going to see a whole lot of brake lights. There's where it is, right on the very edge of our view. Looks like the camera's going to go Okay, it came back for us. But notice how slow things are. Everyone having to kind of merge as you get close to this, right around Q Street. And those delays have been continuing to build out of even where I had the graphic now. So that's past Childs that things are delayed, and a crawl. So might be a morning you consider maybe using Fort Crook as your northbound option and then take 13th. You can see how well that's moving at this point. That's your best alternate route at this point. Aside from that, it had been quiet up until then. We're going to be watching the 52nd and Dodge area where we do have some of those lane restrictions that could be in place through Friday as water main break repairs happen. Right now it's 52nd northbound where it's a little slow. But we did get some delays westbound in that area yesterday, and most of the rest of the metro does look pretty good. It's just that red really stands out there on the JFK northbound, now getting the delays down around to Cornhusker, and those will probably continue to build. So that's going to be a situation we continue to monitor as the morning goes on. Hopefully we can see that clear in a pretty quick fashion and try to avoid bigger issues.
Oh, for sure. All right. We know you're on top of it. Keep us posted. Jared, thank you. To your news now. One of the 6 kids arrested in a 2024 murder in Omaha learned his fate in court. A judge sentenced Trenton Titsworth Hunt with Nebraska's good time law. He will likely serve at least 25 years behind bars. He was 17 at the time of the 2024 murder. Investigators say the kids stole guns in Nebraska City, drove back to Omaha, then attempted several carjackings. During the spree, investigators say 64-year-old Mursal Jama was shot and killed as he returned home from his second job as an Uber driver. Trenton's brother Deshaun and Talon Wilson were previously sentenced on similar charges. Well, the man who pleaded no contest in a shooting outside of a Northwest Omaha movie theater has been sentenced to prison. A judge gave 21-year-old Rayshawn Carradine 8 to 12 years in prison for a second-degree assault charge. He pleaded down from a first-degree assault charge back in November. Prosecutors allege Carradine shot at a man and his girlfriend as they were leaving the Majestic Cinema, hitting the victim in the leg. Well, the new leadership at Nebraska Medicine is making a promise. This after the announcement of a new temporary board of directors. The interim chair tells us the focus is now on keeping the hospital running. This board was formed in the wake of the deal where Clarkson Regional Health Services sold their stake in Nebraska Medicine to the University of Nebraska. 3 board members met with Nebraska Medicine employees who had some very pointed questions that the interim chair couldn't answer. He did say Nebraska Medicine will stay a nonprofit, not a state agency, and day-to-day operations will not change.
The employees are going to remain employed by Nebraska Medicine, and they will be paid the same way they're paid right now. They're going to be recruited the same way they're recruited. The leadership of Nebraska Medicine will have the day-to-day management ability that they have today.
Well, here is the timeline of events for the Nebraska Medicine deal. The proposal was first unveiled January 2nd. After initially delaying the vote, the NU Board of Regents unanimously approved the deal on the 15th. Nebraska Medicine's previous board responded by filing a lawsuit to try and block it. Then last week, the Regents fired that board and installed the interim one. Here at the safety desk now with our Maria Kate. And Maria has some information on a recall that might impact your morning cup of coffee.
Yeah, the FDA is recalling about 1,000 cartons of Keurig's K-Cups, and these are specifically the McCafe Premium Roast Decaf Coffee.
Okay.
So the reason why they're recalling it is because the pods say decaf, but they might actually contain caffeine inside. There are about 84 K-Cups in these specific cartons, and they also have a best by date of November 17th for this year. So if you do have them, you can throw them out if you don't want to drink them, or you can return them back to the store and get a full refund.
Okay, that's easy.
Yep.
Now to the importance of vitamin D and why it's so crucial to our health.
I know, we all need it, but in the winter it's not as easy as the summer, especially to go out and get those levels that we all need, especially when the sun is not out as much. It's cold, you don't want to go outside. So those low levels, though, they can cause a lot of impacts on your health. It leads to fatigue, bone pain, muscle weakness, and mood changes. Experts say, though, if it's not too cold out, maybe like today, you can keep your vitamin D levels up by going outside only for about 15 minutes most days of the week. That can have a really big impact. Vitamin D can also be found naturally in foods like eggs, fatty fishes, of course, juices too, orange juice. You can also take those vitamin D supplements to help, especially if you might have a medical condition that causes those low levels.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of getting my vitamin D supplement. It's really little bitty too.
Yeah, easy to do.
All right, Maria, thank you. And we'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back, everybody. If you're like me and you're tired of being cold all day long and those winds whipping around, today is your day.
Yeah, this one goes out to you.
It's for you.
It's going to be really nice out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, temperatures in the 30s, that's pretty average for this time of year, but it's a lot better than we've had the last couple days. And it's better than where we're going, spoiler alert. We go through the day today, we'll get some sunshine and the winds stay light too. That's really going to be probably the most important part of how today goes, is keeping those winds not active. You can see they do pick up a little bit as we get into the night tonight. So that's a sign of where we're heading with some of those changes that are on the way. There's our Thursday forecast, and 21's the high. We have some snow showers that come through. On this graphic, what I want to highlight here, notice the time frames where our chances peak in the metro, and it's just outside of those commutes that we have, just past the morning commute, just past the evening commute. I'm thinking that we can avoid some big issues with when these come through the area. A little more likely that we have some of those earlier if you're off to the west. So if you're going to be driving in the morning for Norfolk, Columbus, along Highway 81, be ready for that. First alert to potential slick conditions. And we kind of just bounce these snow showers around as the day goes on, but keep them mostly concentrated to the west of the metro. There's some more of those that come through as we go through the evening. We can see the totals this time around, and you can see it's just a light coating that we end up with in the metro. Most of that probably comes in the evening, the way things are looking right now, and then near an inch if you're closer to the Norfolk and Columbus area. So not a lot of snow, but it doesn't take a lot to cause some slick conditions. Just first alert that that's something that is going to be in the forecast for tomorrow. Then we get to Friday, we dry things out, but we also turn colder. Temperatures that are struggling into the teens, wind chills that are below zero all day long as we pick up the winds, get some gusts out of the north up to 25 miles per hour. And it's really going to add that Arctic feel to the air for us. There's what we're looking at for the weekend. So that 14 I mentioned with the breeze. We get into Saturday, we start to get a little recovery, get a little bit of a break from those gusts. And then as we get to Sunday, the temperature improves, but we also get the winds back. And we add some snow chances in. Let's talk more about that round of some snow showers. That comes as we get into the nighttime hours for Saturday. You can see it starting to push in as we get around 9 o'clock or so, the way things are looking. and then swinging south and east across the area as the night goes on and into our Sunday morning. Likely still lingering some flakes around in the morning, and then we should see that dissipate as we get later in the morning and see that come to a close. At this point, not looking like it's a lot of snow. We'll keep an eye on it, keep you first alerted if that does start to change, but it is another round of weekend winter weather that we have to first alert you to. So there's the full picture here of the rest of the work week and into the weekend. You can see how much today stands out as the best day with the combination of factors at play.
So maybe folks are looking at that and that doesn't make them happy. There are better days ahead, right, Jared?
There are better days. In fact, that whole second half of the 10-day has an argument to be better than anything in the first half, and a pretty strong argument at that. Now, it doesn't look quite as nice as it did yesterday at this time when I was showing you the forecast. Have had cut the temps back a little bit, but still upper 30s for much of the first part of next week. And look at that at the end of the 10-day, some 40s and even pushing near 50 as we get toward next weekend. We may have a nice weekend up ahead at the end of the 10-day. It's been a little while since we say that. And long-term trends support that warmer than average temperature holding on for us for much of the country as we go through the first week to week and a half of February. And that's not to say we're done with winter weather by any stretch, but at least getting a reprieve from these ups and downs we've been seeing.
Yeah, I love seeing that warmer than average.
Yeah.
Yes.
if I had my way, people are like, oh, why'd you make the forecast like that? You think I would choose this?
No,
Like, I'd be making the end of the 10-day.
All right, Jared, thanks so much. More news now. The days of digging in your purse or wallet to find exact change could soon end. LB 837 in the Nebraska legislature would allow businesses to round to the nearest 5 cents for purchases paid for with cash. It would follow the standard rounding rules. The bill comes in the wake of the federal government stopping production of the penny. Senator Mike Jacobson, who introduced the bill, says it's about setting a clear standard.
Nebraska businesses and consumers have been in a bit of a no man's land. When a total comes to $10.02 at the cash register and the merchant doesn't have pennies to give, what happens? Right now it's being handled on a case-by-case basis. Each business loses money by rounding down. Some customers feel slighted if the business rounds up without a clear rule.
While the rounded total would include taxes, it is important to note businesses would not be required to follow the system. The law would not apply to digital transactions or purchases paid for with credit, debit, or gift cards. Turning to your big red extra coverage now. Yesterday was football schedule release day for the Big Ten Conference. Nebraska's opponents were already known, but now we have dates to look forward to. The Huskers kick off conference play on the road at Michigan State on September 26th. Now, since there's no week 0 game this year, there's only one bye, and that's on October 24th. The bye follows a tough 2-game stretch. Get this, Nebraska welcomes reigning national champion Indiana, then they travel to Oregon. So that is going to be a tough go. All right, coming up, get ready for a blast from the past. Find out which McDonald's fan favorites returning to the menu.
Welcome back. McDonald's is going vintage and bringing back the popular Changeables Happy Meal from the 80s.
Okay, so they include toys that are a lot like Transformers. They look like menu items, but can be turned into other figurines like dinosaurs or robots. Do you guys remember this at all?
Yeah, we had some of these lying around the house.
So the changeable Happy Meal was first introduced in 1987. Why don't I remember this?
I don't
this
remember.
time around, there will be 16 updated versions of changeables to choose from. McDonald's says this is a limited run, but Jared, you remember it.
Yeah, I remember just going through the toys we had, and it's like, oh, what's this thing?
Okay.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Well,
those are
somebody's
fun.
going to be happy about that somewhere. Well, in Italy, performers are busy rehearsing for the Winter Olympics opening ceremony.
Yeah, this is always exciting. These dancers you see here on your screen are among roughly 1,200 volunteers who have been practicing for the big event since November. The organizers say creating the opening ceremony is complicated, but it is a rewarding journey.
I feel like the opening... Oh.
You get to meet all those volunteers, dance classes, normal people, my butcher, my head of the office, and all of them join in to create something for the nation, for the joy of being part of a huge event like the Olympic.
Now this year, some 60,000 people are expected to attend the ceremony live. And as a reminder, you can win a free 65-inch TV to watch all the Olympic action right here on First Alert 6. All you have to do is download our free First Alert 6 streaming app and look for the Big Games, Big Screens giveaway graphic on the homepage. There you'll see a QR code and you can scan that to go right to the contest entry page. I'm excited.
I love the opening ceremony. I feel like it just sets the tone for the whole event.
Definitely. I think it's going to be very opulent and over the top because Italy, they do everything
Definitely
over the top.
They go big.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can't
looking
wait.
forward to Mariah Carey, right?
Yeah, she'll be there too.
All
Yep.
right. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air. You have options. Enjoy your day.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole. Let's get right to First Alert 6 traffic with Jared, who has a traffic alert to tell us about on the JFK.
Problems with the crash that has happened right around Q Street, and you can see the right lane remains blocked as you're heading through that area, and pretty slow travel as a result. You need to stay left as you're heading through that stretch. There's where this is, and as we zoom out a little bit, you can see how big those delays are going all the way past Cornhuskers. So it may be a good idea to choose an alternate route. Fort Crook is moving along pretty well. You could take that to 13th if you're heading toward downtown. Aside from that, you can see those big delays that are in place on the JFK. Most of the rest of the metro is holding on in pretty good shape. Couple of minor delays showing up on Dodge. That does include right around 52nd westbound. There are some lane restrictions with water main break repairs happening, so be ready for that. Let's check in on the forecast, and I do have good news here. Even though the temperature's not exactly great, we're at 13 degrees, the wind is low, and that means the wind chill is very close to the actual temperature. Those winds will stay calm all day long. There's where we're at, and you can see that we are looking at wind chills that are about the same as the temp throughout the area. There's the wind staying calm all day long, and temperatures that end up warming up into the 30s. This is the warmest that we've been this week, and we'll be all the way through the weekend with some sunshine in and out. So take advantage of this before we cool down tomorrow.
All right, Jared, thank you. Governor Jim Pillen reversing course on waivers that allow older adults and those with disabilities to get their long-term care at home rather than at an institution. This proposal involves slashing the paid hours a caregiver can get. Well, it is now 7:28, and we are back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody.